This is Garage Ministries Shop Talk, encouraging you to live a better life. All right, today on Garage Ministry Shop Talk, I'm pretty excited about this interview that we got today. Today is Obee Rosales, and I met Obee originally. It was probably like the one of the worst parts of my life. We met in a life group at church, and I thought, man, this guy probably thinks I'm crazy or whatever, and I never talked to him again. But we ended up becoming pretty good friends, kind of bonded over food, I think,
Oh yeah,
like we
Lynn's.
always, yeah, the pho. Um, but we're both from California, and I mean different parts. You're from Southern California, I'm from
Yeah.
the north, but uh, I don't know, just I just felt this attraction to you, and then when I started finding out what you're all about and
Mm-hmm.
everything, I've just been inspired by you. So, and then we'll get into it later, but just hearing about your faith and just actually the strength of your faith being from California was a surprise to me.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool. But let's just start to get to know you a little bit. Like, as Christian men, family and church is always important. But like, if you just have a day to do whatever you want, what's something that you love to do, like hobbies or anything like that.
Okay. Well, before I answer that, let's go back to the life group.
Yeah.
Me and my wife were at a very low point too back in 2014, late 2015. So by the time we're here and we're in the life group, you know, I was quiet. I was always listening, but in my head, I was like, "Oh man, Aaron and his girl, he's like halfway there where we were, and then the other couple, they were like where we were like quote unquote in the gutter trying to figure out our life and everything." So I never judge. I just felt like, man, they're going through it, and us, we were at a point where like we've already passed all those stages of our marriage is getting better, and we're like, let's do this life group so that if our marriage is better, it could be a little better, learn something new, refresh our memory. But marriage and being with someone, sharing your life. I mean, I my look like my what I'm trying to say, like the way I see it is we're never gonna really know each other. We're gonna keep evolving. So
Hmm.
it's that commitment and that love that just and that drive and that love for God to just improve and be a better person for the other and your kids. That's what's gonna like keep us going. And there's gonna be ups and downs all the time. But
Well,
like I said, going back to that, you guys reminded me about of what we were going through back in those days.
Well, and we talked about this. We can stay on this for just a second. We talked about this the other day, just about always working on your marriage. I mean, that's so important. I even just now, 3 years after, or 2.5 years after trying to do, starting to work on my
Hmm.
marriage, I'm just now realizing like how bad I am at some parts of it.
Yeah.
I mean, we've come a long ways, but I'm like, man, I still have
Oh yeah.
so far to go, and uh, it's really marriage is a difficult thing, and I actually just saw something before you got here that said if you want a better marriage, start with yourself,
Yeah.
work on yourself, So yeah, we got to be constantly striving to do a
Yeah, I
little
mean it's
better.
it's with God's spirit, like we constantly have to be coming back and just asking for more and replenishing because it's like it dries out, and if you're not in tune, it's just like you go uh you know the other way. It's just the same thing in marriage. You got to keep watering that plant, that so it's just one of those things that we just got to consistently just be intentional. I love that word because being intentional with my marriage is like, no, babe, stop. Let's go on a date. No,
Yeah,
but the kids, but work, but yeah, but we don't water this relationship is gonna be no longer, and that's I see the future, and that's what I tell my friends. I'm in the future. I don't want to be 60 and we have nothing in common. She goes to the bedroom. I'm watching TV. That's not life. That's not what God intended.
yeah.
So I see the future. I'm like, I gotta do what I gotta do right now before I get there.
Yeah, like the Bible says, I have it. I change on my bathroom mirror. I use a Sharpie, and sometimes I have scripture or whatever on there. It's a good place to write a love note to your wife.
Oh yeah.
There's lots of things that you can do on the mirror, but right now it says God, marriage, family, health, everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Bible tells us. And uh, yeah, your wife is the most important thing in your life. The
Yeah.
most important gift that you can have. So
Yeah. And I think God, that's what God gave us, patience.
yeah, yeah. We learn not to pray for patience because you get a chance to test it if you do.
Yeah,
But
man. But well, to answer your question, what I like to do, like on my free time or whatnot, I mean, uh, if it's just me, I like. Ever since I moved over here, I like exploring, going out and see like how beautiful the state is.
mm,
So going to the lake, going on a walk, just like exploring.
do you hike at all?
Not really, not really, but I do like going to the lake, walk around, or some trails. I haven't done it lately, but that's kind of where that's what I would want to do, and then just I don't know, just getting something random like if somebody like for example, pretty soon I'm gonna go to the Main Street Mission, take my kids to serve food, and I think that's a great opportunity to teach them something and something that I don't normally do, like my routine. So I like to
Mm-hmm.
do things that actually I like to do things that get me out of the routine. Like if
Yeah.
you're like, hey, Obi, we're gonna go, uh, I don't know, gather some cows and put them in the corral. I'll be like, okay, that's something
Yeah.
cool.
See something different.
Besides my musical, I always go to the music.
Yeah.
If I could do music every day, like I'm in Disneyland. So that's my passion: creating music, art, things that nobody would really think about. The normal is like the job and construction and all that stuff, but like with the podcast and creating things, filming it, giving people an experience, that's what I love to do. So.
So I've heard a little bit of your music. It's rock.
Mhm.
Is it rock is the genre that you prefer?
I would say progressive rock, progressive metal,
Yeah.
because my music is like melodic and then it's just like heavy metal, like thrash,
Yeah.
So
I don't speak Spanish, but all your music is Spanish
not
or
all, not
not
all.
all
I
of it?
did explore with some English in one of our albums, and then some other projects.
Yeah.
So, which I haven't. I have this side project that not a lot of people know about. It was all English,
Oh,
so
okay.
it was a little.
Yeah. So all I've heard is your Spanish music, and I think it's great, even though I can't understand what you're saying. I think it's the music's awesome, and uh, what was it? There was like a video. Was it somebody was riding a bicycle? Was it you riding a bicycle?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
yeah,
Me and
yeah,
my friend. That's like one of my side projects, like a solo project,
yeah,
and it's like a happy song. So we're like, okay,
yeah.
well,
The
this is.
video was cool. The video
Yeah.
was really cool. So
That's when I had the stash. I told my wife, "Don't let me ever grow it again." I look,
looked like.
I don't know, like Cheech and Chong or something. I don't
I was
know.
thinking like Lowrider magazine or something.
Yeah, I just
Uh,
need those thick glasses and that, that platted shirt,
yeah,
and like,
yeah. Some
"Hey,
khakis.
vato."
So I know that you do a lot of different things uh, for work. I know that you're an entrepreneur, and uh, tell us a little bit about what you do for work, like kind of your daily thing.
Right now, my daily thing. I've always had the graphic and printing thing, like for years. But mid last year, that kind of like died down, and I was looking for something new. Um, my family background, my dad has been in construction since I can remember, and so it's in my blood. I've been around it, the whole building, and over here, I saw a lot of the potential, and I'm like, okay, let me. I explored it, then I didn't want to do it because I was like, man, it's just me to start a whole new thing. You need equipment. To me, I'm big on tools and equipment. Like, I can't just show up and tell you I'm going to remodel your house, and I don't have tools. I don't have a truck.
Mm.
So I was like, nah. And then people, you need a team. You need people you can trust. So
Mm-hmm.
now I'm like with Diamond Ridge Construction with Jonathan Fontes, and he gave me an opportunity, and he has the tools and he has the company. So I decided, like, okay, let me go under this umbrella. So that's pretty much what I do. Like, part of my day, not the whole day, but I'm out doing stuff with them and like my own jobs or whatever, and it's pretty fun. Uh, you know,
Well,
just
and I don't know Jonathan real well, but I've been around a lot of business owners and stuff like that, and seems like a pretty prestigious guy. Like his the quality of his work seems to be pretty great,
yeah,
and it seems like that company is growing. Like I see them doing things. I didn't even know about that company a few years ago, and now it's like it's everywhere.
yeah.
Like I think that that company is really going places. So
Yeah, yeah, no, it's definitely they're great people. They take pride in their work, so I like to be part of that. I don't like to be part of stuff that they don't have integrity
yeah,
and stuff like that. It's like it's about your name, and my
yeah,
personal brand, me as Obi. Like,
yeah,
it like under their company or whoever, whatever I do, like it's gonna be my name on it.
yeah,
Yeah, Obi's the one that left that wall crooked.
yeah.
You know,
No, I
so
know exactly what you're talking. People are like, "Oh, I fix cars, right?" And people are like, "Oh, well, could you just do this?" I'm like, "I could, but I'm not going to put my name on that." You
yeah.
know what I mean? I can't send something out.
And that's important. Yeah,
Yeah,
and then some people they're like, we open up a wall, and I'm like, hey, man, you have termites all the way to the roof.
right.
If I close it, I can't guarantee it.
Yeah,
I would suggest change that whole all the studs.
yeah,
And you're gonna have a better wall, and it's gonna be a problem that's gonna be solved. So,
yeah.
you just have to have a way of talking to people. But yeah, so my day, out there doing jobs, and then I guess I am a creator by nature, so anything I do and touch, there's gonna be some kind of video or audio. And I was telling somebody about this a few days ago because sometimes we fight within ourselves to like, oh, I shouldn't be like that. If I say it, they're gonna think I'm conceited or whatever. And now I realize at my age, and I hope that people realize it at a younger age. God, His Spirit, a lot of people call it muse or whatever. Um, he already gives you what you're supposed to do, and we're just disobedient, and we're like, people are not gonna understand, and what are they gonna say? And God already told you, He understands. He's given
Mm-hmm.
it to you. So I think that I would have avoided so many mistakes and been in other places if I would have just listened. So now I'm like all in. I'm 100% like, if I'm gonna be in construction, I'm doing a video. I'm showing my work. uh, if I'm doing at the studio with Town Square, with the podcast, bringing in people so they can get discovered and like talk about things that maybe is going to help someone else. It all comes down to bettering humankind,
Yeah,
whatever I do, music, construction, podcast. At the end of the day, it's always like a good message at the end or whatever they can see about me. Man, this guy's out there. He's hyped. Nothing breaks him down. Maybe that's gonna encourage them. Doesn't mean I'm untouchable and I don't go through things. I'm still human. I have arguments with my wife,
yeah,
my kids. Man, am I a great dad? I still have all that, but we all have a decision to, you know, it's your perception on life.
yeah.
So.
You said the creating. So tell us a little bit about River Valley Town Square. What is that?
So back in let me see. Well, back in sounds like a while ago. We're 2025, 24. So back in June 2023, this young man by the name of Tal Swicegood started a podcast, Level Up. Around the same time, I believe we met. Um, I wanted no part in it because I wanted to stay underground because my background is music and I'm always in the limelight and like getting involved and all that stuff. So I was like, I'm gonna lay low, small town. I'm gonna do my own thing. I don't want to get bothered. So then my wife started juicing the Obi's natural juices,
Yeah,
and Tal
yeah,
found out, and he's like, "Let me interview you or your wife." I'm like, "My wife ain't having it, so I'll go and just represent her." And she called it my name. I told her, "Why'd you call it Obi's natural juices?" Because it sounds cool. I'm like, "But what? I mean, you could have called it something else, anyways." So
Jazzy Juice.
I told her Jazzy's juice, or maybe the kids, and Jay's juice, because we're all Jays. And he he gave me an appointment, like a meeting, and then we talked about it, and then we did the podcast, and then before I was leaving, he's like, and that's already like December 2023. Um, he's like, why don't you start the Spanish version of a podcast? And I'm like, I've thought about it, and we kind of both like, there is a market, there's this untouched, and I was like, something just kind of told me like, stop saying no to all these opportunities,
Mm-hmm.
and then if you're gonna do it, commit. And I'm like, fine, and I did it. I mean, it was a lot of work. I mean, that's when we had the cell phones, and like
Yeah.
sometimes they wouldn't even record, and
Yeah.
I started bringing a lot of people in, learning about themselves and everything, and uh, at that point it was just level up and eleva. Then it evolved into River Valley Town Square, and then like Tao has a drive, and it's now we're like at the co-create. It's a lot of work. There's still a lot that needs to be done, but
I imagine for anybody that doesn't know Tao, uh, I've seen him do some pretty amazing things. You know,
oh yeah,
his little mini documentaries are fantastic. He's got the voice for it. You
yeah,
know,
that's
like
what I've told them. I mean, and it's the same thing I tell you. Sometimes we run away from God's voice, and we're
yeah,
like, no, well, let's put people and let's get this, but God's like, it needs to be you, bro. Okay, you're
whenever
gonna do a big 360 and go all around, and you're gonna come back to what I told you, and that's what I've told Tao. It needs to be your voice. We got to do this. And recently, we went back to our roots. We're going out to shoot. I know he's editing some stuff until we find like a full time editor, and but we're paving the way. And I like to see him like he has the voice, the tenacity, creativity, and I
well,
mean,
especially as a narrator, like
yeah.
when you see the video footage of somebody doing something, and Tao's like really calm voice is explaining how it's going, and it's just like, dude, you were meant for that,
Yeah, he is, and I know he's finding his way, and like I'm there to support. He's
Yeah,
younger than me. I tell him, you remind me of me when I was in my 20s. I was invincible. I was making a lot of mistakes. I was doing a lot of changes. So he reminds me of me when I was younger, because I'm 44 now. I'm like, I do more of a precise decisions because I
yep,
have my wife, my kids. I got a lot of risk. So when I was young, I mean, I was in my 20s. I was touring. I was in Arizona, up north, in a van. We ran out of gas, no food. Hey, let's get your dollars to let's go eat cheeseburgers. Let's get to the next city. Hopefully they'll pay us. Maybe they're not gonna pay us.
yeah.
It was like we were out there doing like it was an entrepreneurial thing. We were just like, let's go for it. And so it's great to partner up with Tao, and I've met a lot of cool people through him. I mean, being the new guy in town, I've
Yeah,
been able to meet a lot of people, key
yeah.
people, and it's just a blessing. And um,
Uh,
you,
let, let, let's we'll get into the what God has for us, but real quick before we get into that, you just said the new kid in town. How do you where are you from originally?
from LA,
Los Angeles.
Los
Okay.
Angeles. Uh-huh.
Uh, Russellville, Arkansas is like I don't even know what the population is here. Like
Under
40, yeah,
30,000.
like 30,000. Yeah, 28,000 I think is what it is. I'm from Northern California, just north of San Francisco, and was a little bit of a. Oh, how did you end up here? Your wife's family's here or something?
So when I started dating my wife, uh, um, August 28th, 2004. That's when we like, you want to be my girlfriend? She said no, and then she said yes right away after. Um, by the next year, her parents moved over here, 2005, late 2005. So she decided to stay because of me. Hi, babe. And she was in college, and so she just like right at 18 ish, her parents were gone, and so it was just her over there, and we were doing our thing, dating, and then so we would come and visit every year. So we would come when we were just dating, and then we were like married, and then we had the first kid, and then we just come every year. But we never saw ourselves here because it was like little town, a whole bunch of trees. What the heck? We're city people. We're from LA. It I always had it in the back of my mind, as early as probably 2015 and before. Like, man, I gotta make a move, get out. But you're in LA, you're trying to make it. There's Hollywood, there's music scene and everything. And with my background music, man, I'm trying to make it, trying to do music, and you got like the biggest connections over there, whatever. Which I know some of them are new, and so you're just trying to hang on, right? But then COVID happened, 2020, and a lot of things in my mind started shifting. As far as where I live, the state, everything, the cost of living, politics, and just like I feel like there's like a dark spirit in the air in LA. Like it's just like
Mm-hmm.
everybody's just angry and like, no time. Maybe it's just the way of life. You gotta hustle to survive over there. So um, so what did it for me is after COVID, we're over here visiting 2021, 2022 is July. My kids are here and I'm like, man, this is like paradise. It's green. I like green. And now I'm making the decision for my kids. My son was about to go to junior high out in California,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, "There's that's not a way to live." And I'm sorry if people are watching this, but I mean, it's night and day.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't want to offend anyone, but I didn't want my kid to go through what I went through in the '90s.
Yeah.
I went to middle school in the '90s, and I was like, it's worst. I didn't want him to be out there. And so I made a decision for my son. He's my only son. And I'm like, you know what? He needs the best life as well as my two daughters and my wife. So I took a leap of faith and I'm like, I'm going to leave everything behind and go out there and start fresh, it's been hard. It hasn't been the easiest, but God has blessed us so much recently.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, my wife has a good job,
Yeah.
good bosses. I've made good friends. Jonathan, I consider him one of my best friends. If I even have more. And I met you and a lot of great people, and so uh, it was a it was a bittersweet move. And I kind of get a little emotional because
Yeah.
like um, we've been over here and we've only had like small support.
I'm
So
I'm familiar with that. Yeah.
so hold on. But um like in Spanish, my dad always said, "Después de la tormenta viene la calma," which means after the storm comes the peace.
Yeah.
So now that I realize it, like we came over here to start from scratch,
Yeah.
you know. But I think that we're just over that little hump already.
Yeah.
And I think I told my wife, "This is our year. From here is just like from this level to that level
How,
to that
how
level."
long have you been here?
I'm gonna be here 3 years, August 25th. We
So I heard a tattoo artist I went to one time that was from California that come here, and he said it takes about 6 or 7 years to adjust from California to Arkansas, and I I think he was right. It'll slowly start getting better, I think, for you now, but I think he was right. About year six, I was like, man, I'm not going back. I was like, you could never get me to go back.
Well, I was ready to not go back within 6 months
Yeah,
because I was already tired of LA.
yeah,
It was just like I said, I'm sorry. Like I don't
yeah.
want to talk
Well,
so, but it was just, I'm not even gonna say nothing. But I was just tired of that lifestyle. I needed an escape,
yeah,
and so I went back within 6 months, and I was really like, what the heck? All this traffic, all this, uh, just
yeah.
crammed, and I'm like, forget this. So I was ready to come back. So and then that's what I was looking for. Somewhere where I can live in tranquility,
Yeah.
meet some great people,
I,
a close, tight knit community that watches each other. A lot. Everybody goes to church on Sunday. And so that's what I wanted, like a very good quality of life for my wife and kids, and I have it.
I tell people all the time the two things I missed about California still is the quality of the food and the weather.
Oh
Those are the
yeah,
two things,
yeah. You're right. You're right.
Uh,
But
like you could have top quality cuisine from every ethnicity
yeah,
or every country right there in especially if you're in LA or San Francisco.
yeah,
Everything that you could ever imagine is right there, and it's gonna be super fresh. And I think LA is a little different. Northern California, it's like 75 degrees every single day of
yeah,
the year, and no humidity.
yeah.
So those are the things I miss. But I'm with you, man. It's beautiful here in Arkansas, and people are super friendly.
Oh yeah.
It's just different. It was like a different country.
Oh yeah, and it's like, really, you're waving at me, like,
Yeah,
hi back,
yeah,
you know. It's just like I said, night and day. But that's kind of what like made us decide. I mean, it's just I had to decide. My wife didn't believe me. She's like, "Are you playing?" I'm like, "No, we're moving within a month." And so I started selling things, prepping my trailer. I We didn't tell our parents. My parents knew within maybe a week or two. I'm
mm,
like, I'm moving because I knew they were gonna try to convince me to stay.
mm-hmm,
But why? You have everything here and this and that. So I was like, I gotta tell them within a week or two, like,
mm-hmm.
peace. And then my wife didn't tell her parents when until we were passing Flagstaff. So she's like,
Surprise.
Mom, we're gonna need a place to stay because we're like already halfway,
That's funny.
Because when we would tell them about we might want to move maybe soon, my wife didn't want to give them like false hope,
Right.
and
I
she's
got
like,
you.
I'm not gonna let them know. And so my wife didn't think I was serious until I was like, hey, I already booked the hotel halfway and trailer's ready, and I've been because I would after work I would just go to the garage. I was there for an hour. And I was just prepping everything, like throwing stuff, selling stuff, and
Yeah.
we moved out here in our small 5x8 trailer. We pulled it with our Durango, and we brought our little white Hyundai hatchback. That's all we brought from California. Everything else we left.
Yeah.
So,
Mm.
and
That's
still,
crazy.
and I mean, we're blessed. We have a brand new house,
Yeah.
and we only have our beds and our tape. My wife's gonna be, don't tell them. But I'm just
Uh,
transparent. Like, it's a
yeah.
blessing, Like,
Yeah.
that's a blessing. Some people don't even have furniture.
Yeah.
I have a
Oh,
bed
yeah.
to
Oh,
sleep
yeah.
on, and a TV right there. So
Man, we talk about this all the time in New Breed, and it's something that I think I kind of learned it at the worst part of my life was you got to be thankful for the things that you have.
yeah.
And some people may be in a really bad spot and be like, "Well, I don't have nothing to be thankful for." Well, you're alive, and
Mm-hmm.
if you can stand up and you have clothes on your back, then you got a couple things to be
Well,
thankful
because it's
for.
it's perspective, like that preaching a few weeks ago about coveting. Like,
Yeah,
you can't be so focused on everybody else's success.
yeah,
Focused on yourself, on what the blessing God has given you. Some people might wish that they had your family. Yeah, they have the Range Rover, which, by the way, I love. That's my dream car. Black on black. If anybody's listening, um, they might have all of that, but they might be wanting what you have. You know,
yeah,
and so, and that's a blessing because we're called to live the way Christ wants us to be, so that the world will know.
yeah,
And that's something that I'm always like, I can't, what I'm saying, I have to
yeah,
stay in a line and try to be the best I can, not for the world, yeah, for the world, but mainly for my wife and kids.
yeah,
So I mean, it's but going to that, if you wake up today, the perspective is, I have another day on this earth
yeah,
to call my mom that I haven't called, to clean the garage, to say sorry to that friend, to call this person. And don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect. I have people that I got to call and like, hey, man, and so that's the thing we got to do every day, just try to be thankful and and just do the right thing.
yeah.
So life, food, shelter,
Well, for anybody that's in that spot where, oh well, they got this and they got that and they're doing better than me. Well, at my lowest point, I was making the most money that I'd ever made in my life. You know, I don't have anything to show really for that money I was
mm-hmm.
making. I blew it all. Uh, it didn't bring me happiness.
Yeah.
It was probably more of a headache than anything. And now, as an adult, I'm probably making, now that I'm a business owner, I'm
Yeah.
probably making the least amount of money I've made as an adult, and I'm happier now
Yeah.
than I've ever been. So right there is like, be careful what you ask for. You
Yeah,
know, be
definitely.
and if you just focus on the gifts that God has for you, oh man, it's such a much better life. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
but
Oh yeah.
so the other day you were helping me with some of my graphic design stuff
Mm-hmm.
since RG Print Studios is
Yeah.
kind of one of your deals, and we were talking about doing this interview, and part of the reason why I do this podcast is I know that there's biblical scholars and they all have their ideas of what things mean. But you said something to me the other day that really got me thinking, and I loved the way that you put it. And we were talking about our talents, the things that God's, you know, like what we were just saying, the things that God has for us in different seasons, and the talents that He's put in us. And we were talking about the podcast, and we were talking about all the creation, and and I was kind of like, well, I'm gonna let it ride, and you were like, well, you got to make sure you're doing your part. And then you said faith without works is dead.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've heard that translated so many different ways, but the way that you were talking about it that day was so interesting to me. you know
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we got to provide for our families and stuff, but if you have something like we've been talking about this whole time, if you have something in you that you're just passionate about, I mean,
Hmm.
you don't want to say no to it. You don't want to put it on a shelf,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's like when we go to work, we go spend 8 hours a day working for somebody, uh, and at the end of the week, we see the fruits of it, your paycheck. And sometimes with our faith, we believe, or it's just a habit, but we believe that just by believing, it's going to happen. And it's not like that. God already gave us the feeling, the purpose, and just praying is not going to make it happen. I know there's certain times and places where, yeah, God, I really need this money. How am I gonna? And then, yeah, He sends an angel, a person. Hey, man, God told me, here's $500. But I mean, for me, like, I think that's like a 5%. you know, uh, the other 95, you have to put faith in action. If you really want to get the word out, you need to go out there.
yeah.
Go out into the world, like go handle business, go hustle, go prepare yourself. So, which is what I've been stuck on several times, where like, how come I don't see results? I've been praying to God, I've been this and that, and then like but I haven't been consistent. you know
Yeah.
Procrastinating, working with the wrong people or waiting for the wrong people, and we're over here like 2 months later. So I mean, time doesn't wait, man. So it's like, consistency is key, and that's something that I learned here in this town. I was like, if I'm gonna be the new guy and I'm gonna like uh, excel and move my family up into the level, I have to show up, even when I don't want to. Because there's gonna be those days, man. Not
Yeah.
today, really. Like yesterday, like I booked the podcast at 1. My buddy calls me the day before, and he's like, I have an idea. And my mind went into like circuits, like everything I've been thinking about, an opportunity. All right, cool. I was like, if you show up tomorrow at 2:30, we're doing a podcast. So I did a podcast back to back. It's a very tiring day yesterday, busy day, as well as today. But the fruits are gonna be there
Mm-hmm.
next week when we have 3 podcasts. Your podcast to edit, the 2 I did yesterday,
Yeah.
and the one I'm recording next week. It's all like my job and like showing up to town square, and it's just like putting it in God's hands. But and He's gonna open those doors, and He's working in people to work with us and me and myself. That I can't just say sit down right there and wait for it. I have to show up. I have to go through that door and, hey, how you
Yeah.
doing? Like I told you, after this I have a phone call.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Well, and people don't realize, it's easy to just click on YouTube and click on, oh, there's a podcast. Well, it's like I gotta. I mean, I'm on my goal is to have one a month. I've been doing two a month, but
mhm.
if I can do at least one a month, I'm happy. And people are like, "Oh, you should do one a week," and I'm like, "Bro," I'm like, it's not even filming. It's not even that hard for me. It's
Yeah,
like have because my podcast always requires a guest, right?
yeah,
So scheduling it with
hmm,
somebody else, having them, I'm 20 minutes out of town, 25 minutes out of town,
yeah,
like having them come out here and both of our schedules line up, and of course you always got to have something to talk about. I mean, it's
Yeah, there's
it
a
takes a
lot of
little bit of
pre-planning and
yeah,
then the actual shoot and then post-production and then distributing it. Like this is stuff that I didn't like, just being at the studio, I'm like, what? We're gonna distribute this podcast and we're gonna
yeah,
set it up on platforms. So
yeah. It's so
it is a
easy,
lot of work.
so easy.
Yeah, it's easy, but it's a lot of
Yeah,
work.
it's a
It's
lot of
like you
work,
gotta know
man.
and understand things. So
And then you're
mm,
like, and when you're new, like I am, it's like, am I doing it right? Like
yeah.
what could I do better?
Yeah,
You know,
but
and
you're doing the right thing because you're like you're doing it and learning at the same time, making mistakes, and that's how you become better.
yeah.
By making mistakes.
Well, and you talking about like what God has planned for us. I don't see myself as like I'm not like an articulate speaker. I don't. I'm kind of slow witted. It takes me a minute to process things.
Yeah,
I'm not a front man, I guess per se.
yeah.
But God put it on my heart to do this, and it's kind of interesting. Like I was on a different podcast, and then I was on your podcast, and then
Hmm.
I was on your podcast again, and then I had somebody that was like, "Hey, we should start a podcast," and I was
Yeah,
like, and then I got the equipment, and that person ultimately was like, I don't know about it, and I'm like, man, I just felt like I'm supposed to do
yeah.
this,
And
and
then you acted like you didn't wait for the person to actually do. You're being obedient.
yeah,
And like that's what matters. So it's like you're putting in the work. That doesn't mean that God's not there, but He's there in the forefront in front of you, giving you that favor, that
yeah.
figuring things out, and then bringing people here. I think it's amazing. I think it's a great setup, and you can only improve, it's whatever you
Well,
want to do.
in this, like we're swatting flies away, and it's a little
I
hot in
think that's
here,
great. It's a garage out here in the
yeah.
South, like I
Well, I
just,
got another spot where I could set it up, but you know, this is as low budget as it gets. There's no like,
yeah.
this is where I work. The mess is in the background. You can see
Yeah.
the mess in the background because I work here,
Yeah.
and I was working when you pulled up.
Yeah, I was like, "Zzz."
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's genuine. What is it? Genuine.
yeah, genuine.
Genuine. I pull up. I just bzzz. Oh, Obi's here. Let's go. You walk the. You didn't even change your shirt. Nothing. You're
No,
just like, this is real garage mechanic
yeah,
podcast, and I think that's
yeah. I'm
like
trying
so
to.
cool.
I mean, you know, garage ministry shop talk, but I've been playing with ideas. It's like bring the throne room to the shop floor, or something like that. But yeah, no, I just wanted something that was super authentic, uh and this is as real as it gets.
Yeah,
You know,
I like
so
it. I like it. You just need a Dr
so
Pepper somewhere.
right,
I
right.
I never did Dr Pepper like I do over here. It just kind of grew on me, man.
We started the Dr. Pepper Zero.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I'm not supposed to be
you,
having sugar,
you
so
like it or not?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That I've tried that, the Pepsi and the Sprite Zero. All three of them I think are pretty
Okay.
decent. Better than diet.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
haven't
for sure.
switched though. We'll see
Yeah,
what the doctor says.
yeah. He might tell you. I skipped over one question, and I'm always curious about this. Did you have a burning bush moment with God where he just was undeniable to you, or some people say they just they grew up in it and they've always believed, but was there a moment that you just couldn't deny that God was real and that you have to follow him?
I have to for this one. I have to like get
Yeah, I got you. I
ready.
got you.
I had a lot of moments throughout my life. My parents are pastors. I grew up around it, like you said. I got baptized when I was 18. Most of that was like peer pressure or like I got to do it because everybody's doing it. So I've had a smooth, cool, rough ride in my walk with God. Been good, bad, everywhere in between. Confused, unbelief. Like, do I really believe this or not? I had that moment in late 2014, and I've been working hard to stay in that thin road with God. I'm not perfect, but I think that's where He scorched me. I had that burning bush scorched moment where like it's now or never because
Yeah,
now I have a legacy to leave behind. I got kids now. It's not just me. I have a wife. I have this legacy to work hard on. So all of that came to mind, and for me, like I said, my dad's a pastor, and I had a shop behind the building, and I'm just like I'm going bananas in my mind and everything. There's a lot happening, and so I walk into church, and I'm like, I get on my knees, and I'm like, man, if you're real, this I want to end 2014 and be leave that old man behind, and then start a new life. But it wasn't the way I thought it was gonna be, man. Like happy,
Mm-hmm.
Cinderella, whatever, Disneyland music. It was just like the worst time of my life. Like a lot of stuff came to light. Me and my wife, it was just bad, But I remember like this is what I told God. He's not gonna do it the way I want it. So, I came back to Christ 100, and then, I had to fix my marriage, and then I did all the spiritual thing, and the good thing is that God brought some good counselors around me.
Mm.
One of them was Pastor Roger. I reached out. He really like helped me in making decisions. Really wise man, and as well as other friends and pastors. So it was just a tough uh early 2015. Christmas was bad. It was just like bad, and uh so I did the whole spiritual thing, and then that's when I learned that I had to go through the physical
Yeah.
thing. Like there's stuff that I wasn't doing anymore, or putting in my body, that like my body's just like, why do I feel so depressed, and like why do I wake up at 3 a.m. and my chest is burning and sweating, and I'm going to the living room, and I'm in the floor
Mm-hmm.
shaking, and my way of coping with that or helping was like put worship music,
Mm.
on the TV, and just I had my every night, and then I was there and everything. But my wife supported me so much. So that was my moment,
Yeah.
and it was a good education for me to like, if there's certain things I go back to and I do, this is gonna be the result or the consequence,
Yeah.
and I don't want to have that feeling. So I decided, you know what, old man, stay over there. Tries to creep up, but I'm like, nah, it's not worth it. And
Maybe
so,
that's
so
maybe that's my attraction to you. It's like our that moment for both of us is really similar.
yeah.
So
And I get a little
uh
emotional. Like it's good to talk
yeah.
about it because it reminds me. That's right. That's why I did the change,
Well, and that's I tell
or
people,
God did the change in
yeah,
me.
well, I tell people all the time, like if you've been doing good for a long time and you're in like a stale moment, look back on that.
Yeah,
Look back on that day that God changed your life.
yeah,
Whether you said the old man, some people say that old coat, taking off that old coat,
mm-hmm.
and look back at that moment,
Yeah,
and man, it's so good. But
yeah. And I have rough days sometimes, and I
yeah,
mean, I sin. I dang, why did I say that or whatever? But I mean, it's just I think about those moments when I had index cards because I was just going through where I needed to remind myself of God's word. Like, man, I'm like there, and I'm like trying to function, and I do work, and I'm like, Jeremiah 29:11, it's the be anxious for nothing. And
yeah.
like, I had to just remember. I remember I was in my bed and I had all the index cards right there. Surround. It was wild, man. Like,
I think
I
that
might do a video about it, a music video, if I do music again,
yeah, yeah,
because
that'd
it's
be
my
cool.
story.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I think the misconception is, oh, Christ changed my life and everything, and now I'm perfect. I think non-believers see it
Oh
that
yeah,
way.
yeah, yeah. No, no. I mean, that's when like the enemy and things even go worse,
Yeah,
because now you're, oh really,
yeah.
this guy's all about Jesus, and then you start getting darts.
Well, they say like why I've heard a couple different things like why does it feel so good to live in sin? Well, I've heard a couple. One's kind of funny is like, well, your body's not going with you to heaven, so like
Yeah,
it's gonna enjoy it. But um, when you're with the devil, when you're living the way the devil, dude, he's got you right where he wants you. So why would he make it hard on
yeah,
you?
yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
But honestly, man, is it a good life? No, because everything
No.
that is God on this end is antichrist. So in this side is real happiness, is fake happiness.
Yeah.
You know, truth, lies. You know,
Yeah.
so it's kind of like you think you're in a good playground and it's awesome, But and we all felt bad at the end of the day. Remorse and something like, man, we're empty.
Well, and I don't think you fully see the picture until you've lived this new life.
Yeah.
Um, when you really get to feel true joy, when you've made a good decision and get to reap the rewards, eat the fruit of that good decision,
Yeah.
is when you really. Because even at first, I was like, "Is this worth it? Is this worth it?" But uh, when the good seed starts to produce fruit, is when you realize, yeah, it is worth it. Why
Yeah.
didn't I do this? For me, I was like, why didn't I do this 15, 20 years ago?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but you know, the good thing is that we made a turn, 360, and I always remember my wife's words after I made the change. I told her I'm gonna change for myself, but it's up to you if you want to give me a chance after that. And she told me, "Hey, this is the best life I've had with you
Yeah,
than the first 10 years."
yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm emotional, bro.
I mean, it, and you should be. You know what I mean? That's such a good thing. And I thought my wife and I were getting a divorce. And I changed for myself as well. It wasn't like I didn't. My wife, even after we got back together, she's like, even if you wouldn't have made the change, I still would have tried to be with you. It's not. There was no ultimatums.
Yeah,
It wasn't like do this or else. I just knew, like, if I don't follow Christ now, I'll end up dead, or I'm not
dead.
gonna be. I'm not gonna be the father that I'm called to be.
Hmm.
There's gonna be so much that I missed out on, and
Yeah. I don't know if it was like that for you. Like I saw myself 15 years in the future. With a son, a fatherless son, a divorced wife, hurt because of my actions. My daughters with no father. I saw that, and I was like, forget that. I need to make some changes.
yeah, oh
So,
yeah,
so I'm glad. And then, I mean, like I said, I mean, people see you, they're like, man, he must have it all together. I don't, man. I still struggle. I still go through things. Still figure things out. But the thing is to use that guide, which is God's word, and
yeah,
a man of God. Surround yourself. I mean, I have weeks where, I mean, I listen to all kinds of music, but I have weeks and months. If my buddy was saying, "Oh, you're on that season right now," like, yep, I'm listening to a lot of '90s worship right now. Every day, I feel
yeah.
myself with like, I need to listen to this. I need to remind myself. I need to kind of be in it, and it gives me strength. Like a lot of that '90s worship music for me is like old school because that's
I,
what I was listening to.
yeah, I listen to modern Christian rap.
Yeah,
I know that sounds wild, and people. I've had older people look at me like, "Are you? What's that?"
yeah,
But I'm just being from the Bay Area, like being from like where all the gangster rap was from.
mm-hmm.
Like that's what I love for whatever reason. But I listen to that. But even that, just the talking about God, constantly filling yourself with something on a positive note. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? And I think it's the one of the reasons why church is so important too. I mean, we need to learn for ourselves the Bible, but to go to church and be around people, to be
mm-hmm.
in life groups with people that are
Yeah,
trying to make their life better, or you know, uh, like, hey, I need what should I do if I want to get a quote on a roof? I know
yeah,
somebody I could trust, or you like, man, my Hyundai won't start. Like, what are
yeah.
we gonna do about this? Somebody that you can trust, and even the churches, if you find a good one, it'll help you live a better life as well. But
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this. I'm impressed with your testimony, your life change you made, because you're open about it. You're helping a lot of men, and like you said, you haven't really considered yourself like some kind of speaker or leader. But I mean, nobody gathers about 30 men every 2 weeks. Not everybody, and
right,
it's you and your partner, and that to me that's incredible and that's encouraging. Like I mean, you're part of a movement that 20 to 25 men show up at Fat Tony's, and you know,
yeah.
like that's great.
I honestly, it was last week when I realized like what we were doing. It started with four dudes in this fire department right
Yeah.
down the road, and it was like, what are we even doing here? You know what I mean? And now we have consistent, like probably 20 dudes that come every week,
Yeah.
but then like there's another 10 dudes that are new, or just been a couple times. It's their
Yeah.
first time, whatever, and maybe they're not even like dude. The percentage of people, like a third of the people there, probably don't even go to church.
Yeah.
I don't even know that they're believers yet. You know what I mean? But uh, we talk about all the good, the bad, and the ugly, and
Hmm.
how this applies to our life, how we can use it to
Yeah.
live a better life. And man, my co-leader, like you were talking about, Shannon, he was like, "We're doing something that what." And this is, I need to say it like this because we're not doing it. God's allowing us to be part of something
Yeah.
that nobody else is doing. I mean, not. I'm sure there's other ones like it, but
Yeah.
I've never been to anything like it.
Yeah.
It's like
It's definitely a
usually,
movement. It's
yeah,
definitely like, and it's just all the ingredients to have a successful meet are there.
yeah,
I mean, it's at Fat Tony's, a barber shop.
yeah.
It's like,
It's like neutral
the
ground.
chill,
Yeah,
and then I mean, there's food, and then you guys get right to business, and it's like a men's thing, and it's and I believe there's like, you keep it in there. Whatever we talk about, it's
yes,
kind of like
yes,
private. So it's like if somebody comes with some issues, it's gonna stay there.
yes,
They're gonna get help, and
yeah,
through that group, and I think that's cool.
yeah. And it's amazing too, like the people that take advantage of it. Like, oh brother, I'm struggling with this today. But part of it is I share my struggles
Yeah,
with the group. I'm the leader, and I still struggle, and I share my struggles. I'm going to tell the good, the bad, and the ugly of my life. Um, and that's how you build a relationship is just
yeah,
telling the truth. And yeah, it's like a surreal experience, and I just like I always say, like throughout all this, I have big dreams about it, but if it helps one person, it's worth the effort. In the
yeah,
group, this podcast, you know what I mean? If
yeah.
if we help one person change their life or get to heaven, it was worth it. You
Oh,
know?
definitely. No, we're definitely doing something. You're leaving your mark here in town, and with those gentlemen out there. So just keep doing it, man. Keep doing it, and like, my father told me, like, if you know you're doing something right, you're gonna know you're doing it because you see the fruits.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I live my life. If I see good results, then I'm doing something good. If I don't see results, then I should probably change something or just not do it anymore.
Yeah.
So I mean, at least with the attendance, that's a good,
Yeah.
big, sign. Hey, this
Yeah.
is.
We do have good food though. Maybe they're coming to you.
I
I don't know.
know, man. I haven't gone in a minute, but I do think about it. Man, I think I missed
I tell
something
people
good.
all the time, I'm like, if nothing else, you're gonna get a good meal. So,
Oh yeah, I
but
mean, my favorite day was when you guys had Papa John's.
oh yeah,
Man, it's all with the little peppercini or whatever.
yeah,
That was
yeah.
good. And
We
then iced tea.
yeah.
I was
Every
like,
time we always gotta have the tea and something good to eat from in town, and my buddy caters it out, and yeah, it's just a great experience. I look forward to it,
yeah,
and yeah, like I said, going from 4 or 5 to 30. We've been the last few meetings have been like 30, 33, 35. I'm
wow.
like,
Are you guys gonna get more
whoa,
chairs? Like,
we're
set it
gonna
up.
have to. I told, there's church pews in there, and I'm like, well, all the skinny guys got to sit on the church pews and get real close together, so
Yeah,
we got enough room. But something else too. Uh, we sit around the outside edge of the building, and everybody faces each other. It's almost
yeah.
like a round table, kind
Mm-hmm.
of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Maybe
uh,
you guys should keep that when you guys have 40, 50 people, because it's great because everybody's looking at each other. You're not looking at people's backs and just
yeah,
one guy over there.
yeah,
So I think that helps too. Everybody's looking at each other, makes it like
yeah.
more
I
intimate.
I love it, man. I love it. It's such a blessing to be able to be part of that. Yeah. Pastor Mark Pagley was the one that pushed me into that. He's like, "Hey, maybe you should," and I'm like, I don't know," but it it was like another one of those things. God just started putting the pieces together,
Yeah.
and then when we were looking to get a different place from up here, immediately, you know, Anthony down there at Fat Tony's was like, "You can have the barbershop. You can use the barbershop." I was like, "Are you sure?" "Oh yeah," and it just God like making one pathway after the next,
Yeah,
So,
that's great, man.
well, I appreciate you being here today. I got one
Thank
more.
you.
I got one more question for you. If there was one thing that you could say, and I've thought about this a couple different ways, but however you want to answer it, if there's one thing that you could say to the men out there, what would it be? Or even, you know, something you could say to yourself if you were 20 years old. You know what I mean? Like, what's some good advice that you'd like to put out there?
Well, to the men, I would say it's up to us to guide our families, our cities, our states, our country for the better, So that means, being a good role model and a good leader to our wife and kids and everyone else. So I think step up, you know, uh, we have to go against the current because we know that it's no good the way it's been going. So I would say just don't be afraid, you know, of course, with respect and love, but to be righteous and stand tall for what is right.
Yeah.
So that's what I would tell the men. And what I would tell myself as a 20-year-old is to just go for it and not think about things too much and just go and do what God intended you to do
Yeah.
or me to do,
Yeah.
and just listen to his voice, man. You don't know the incredible things you will experience if you just let God guide you and listen to him, because this is a battle in this world, physically and spiritually,
Yeah.
you know, and so we have to learn to discern what is of God and what is not. So I would just tell I could have done way more, although I did a lot and I'm happy with that. I could have done a lot way more, not just for myself, but for those around me
Mm.
and a bigger blessing,
Yeah.
So, but it's not too late.
Right.
So I might be becoming the next chapter of who Obi is
Yeah.
and what God wants to do with my life.
Yeah.
So
Amen. I love it.
there you
All right. Well,
go.
uh, if you like what we're doing here at Garage Ministries, please subscribe. I mean, that's how we're going to grow and get it out to all the people out there. And Obi, I appreciate you coming on today. And
Thank you, Aaron.
maybe we'll do it again in 6 months or a year or something.
Let's
But
do it, man. And I just right now I'm just hungry, man. You said Lynn's, and I'm like, man,
yeah,
chicken. That
yeah.
what is that? The P13 or the P12?
Yeah. I do P12 with P1 noodles.
We went with B1 noodles,
Yeah.
man. Spicy.
I don't the clear noodles are fine too, but I just like the white noodles better.
Yeah. Well, hey, Aaron, keep doing what you're doing. Don't stop. You're doing a lot of great stuff in a short amount of time from when I met you until now, and you're a very, inspirational person. Although, like you said, sometimes we're like, I don't know if we are or not, but with the fruits and the fruits I see with what you're doing at Fat Tony's and your family and your child, like wife. I mean, it's in the way you're involved. Like, man, that's incredible to me. So just keep doing, never
I
surrender.
appreciate
And
it.
like Pastor Roger told me that day, I was in the street crying, like, why am I feeling like this? Why, if I already gave my life back to Christ? And he said, it's because you're going through physical stuff now. But he said, never quit.
Yeah.
And every time, and he has a nice little, hey, bro, never quit. Like, so every time I'm like gonna quit, I hear his voice, hey, bro, never quit. And I'm like, all right, so I'll tell you the same, and never quit, keep going.
Yeah.
So,
Hopefully, I get to meet Pastor Roger someday.
he's awesome. He's starting to do videos now,
Yeah.
so I'll find one and I'll send it to you.
All right.
He's a pastor out there in California. I forget what city, but
Yeah.
really cool dude. Like, musician too, very creative. He sings,
Cool.
writes music.
Yeah.
He knows all this, the videos, and
Yeah.
really great engineer and a good friend and pastor. So
Yeah.
he probably doesn't know I quote him a lot. He's gonna be
Yeah.
like, "What?"
Right on.
So
All
cool, man.
right. Well, like we always say here at Garage Ministries, we're just trying to help you live a little bit better life.